The city of Valaris shimmered under the pale light of twin suns. Towers of glass and metal stretched high into the sky, their tips glinting like stars. Floating platforms hovered around the tallest spires, carrying citizens from one level to another in quiet, gliding transports. Despite the beauty, the city held an underlying tension, an invisible weight of politics, power, and history. Alex Carter stepped off the transport and surveyed the bustling platform. As a human guard in an alien world, he had learned to notice everything. The subtle movements of citizens, the hum of energy shields, and the faint vibration of machinery beneath his boots. His sharp eyes scanned the crowd for anything unusual. Being assigned to Princess Lyra Valanis was a prestigious posting, but also dangerous. She was young, intelligent, and a symbol of her people's strength. Protecting her meant constant vigilance. "Alex," called a melodic voice, drawing his attention upward. The princess appeared on a higher platform, her robes flowing like liquid light. Her eyes, a vivid shade of violet, studied him with a curious intensity. She descended gracefully, her movements precise and confident. "Your Highness," Alex said, bowing slightly, though he was careful to maintain professional distance. Lyra smiled faintly. "I hope you are ready for this assignment. I have heard good things about your skills." Alex met her gaze steadily. "I will do my duty, Princess. Nothing will happen to you while I am here." The princess's lips curved into a small, approving smile, but there was a spark in her eyes, a challenge, as if she were testing him. Alex had encountered this before. Royalty often measured their protectors, assessing not just skill but character. The day passed with routine inspections and cautious social interactions. Lyra's schedule was filled with meetings, audiences, and tours of the city's technological marvels. Alex stayed close, ever watchful, but he also noticed her subtle interest in human behavior. She asked questions about his training, about Earth, about how humans adapted to dangerous situations. Her curiosity was genuine, though guarded, as if she were revealing a small part of herself to test his reactions. As the twin suns dipped below the horizon, the city began to hum with a different energy. Lights shifted, casting long shadows across the platforms. Alex guided Lyra to the observation deck of the palace, a tall structure that rose above even the highest towers. From here, one could see the sprawling city, the floating gardens, and the dangerous wildlands beyond. "It is beautiful," Lyra said softly, leaning on the railing. Her eyes reflected the colors of the sunset, a mixture of orange, pink, and violet. "Sometimes I wish I could stay here forever and forget the responsibilities waiting below." Alex glanced at her. "Duty can be heavy, Your Highness, but it is what shapes leaders. You are not alone in carrying it." She looked at him, her gaze piercing yet thoughtful. "You seem to carry your own burdens, Alex Carter." "I see it in your eyes," he chose his words carefully. "Everyone has their burdens, Princess. Some are easier to bear than others." Before she could respond, a sudden tremor shook the platform. The energy shield surrounding the city flickered violently. Citizens screamed as alarms blared. Alex immediately moved in front of Lyra, scanning for danger. "What is happening?" Lyra asked, her voice calm despite the panic around them. "A seismic event," Alex said grimly. "It could be the ground or the shield. I need to get you to safety." The observation deck shook again, stronger this time. Panels of glass cracked and debris rained down from above. Alex grabbed Lyra's arm and pulled her toward the inner chamber. But before they could reach it, a massive piece of debris fell, blocking their exit. The door was jammed. "We are trapped," Alex said, assessing the situation quickly. "We need another way out." Lyra's eyes narrowed. "Follow me," she said, moving toward a maintenance hatch hidden behind a decorative panel. Her fingers pressed a sequence on the control panel, and the hatch slid open silently. Alex's eyebrows rose in surprise. "You know this place well." Lyra glanced at him with a faint smile. "More than most guards realize. I like to understand the systems around me." They climbed down into the narrow shaft, the sounds of the city above fading into a low, distant hum. Alex kept one hand on Lyra's back, guiding her carefully through the twisting corridors. The shafts were dimly lit, narrow, and lined with complex machinery. Automated drones occasionally hovered past, scanning the tunnels for damage. Alex's instincts were on high alert. He moved with precision, analyzing every corner, every shadow. Lyra followed, calm but attentive, occasionally manipulating panels to clear blocked sections. "You are very capable." Alex said cautiously. I did not expect. She laughed softly, cutting him off. That a princess would understand machines? Most people assume royalty is only ceremonial. Alex shook his head. Not many people think, princess. But that can be dangerous too. Lyra stopped for a moment, examining a control panel. Sometimes danger is the only way to learn. I think you would agree. He did not answer immediately. He had learned over time that humans often underestimated aliens, but Lyra was different. Her curiosity was tempered with intelligence and caution. He felt an unspoken understanding forming between them. Hours seemed to pass as they navigated the twisting shafts. Occasionally they encountered hazards, falling panels, malfunctioning drones, and energy surges that forced them to take cover. Each challenge required them to work together. Lyra's knowledge of the machinery complemented Alex's tactical skills. She guided him through technical puzzles. He protected her from sudden threats. At one point, a section of the shaft collapsed behind them, leaving only one narrow path forward. Alex held the debris aside while Lyra crawled through. As she emerged on the other side, she paused and looked back at him. You trust me, Alex? She asked quietly. He studied her face. I have to. We are in this together. Her lips curved into a faint, appreciative smile. I think I understand humans a little better now. They continued forward, their conversation easing into something more personal. Lyra spoke of her responsibilities, her dreams of seeing other worlds, and her fascination with humans. Alex, in turn, shared fragments of his past, missions that tested his limits, failures that still haunted him. They did not tell everything. Some secrets remained carefully guarded, but the trust between them grew. Eventually, they reached a large chamber filled with ancient machinery. Energy conduits hummed along the walls, and a massive observation window revealed the city far above. It was a breathtaking view, but it also reminded them of their precarious situation. We need to find a way out, Alex said, scanning the chamber. Lyra approached a console and activated a holographic map. There is a maintenance transport system that can lead us back to the surface, but it is old, unstable. It will not hold two people easily. Alex studied the hologram. Then we need to move carefully. Timing will be critical. They worked together, synchronizing movements, planning steps, and avoiding malfunctioning security systems. Each moment demanded precision and attention. Their combined skills allowed them to bypass obstacles that would have been impossible alone. As they approached the transport system, the chamber began to tremble. A low rumble shook the walls, dust falling from the ceiling. Alex grabbed Lyra's hand. Hold on, he said firmly. The transport platform emerged from the shadows, humming to life. They stepped onto it cautiously. The machinery shuddered but remained stable. Alex guided Lyra as the platform ascended, moving through narrow tunnels toward the surface. Finally, they emerged into the open air of the palace gardens. The city lights glimmered around them, but the danger was not entirely over. Debris still fell from the upper structures, and the energy shield was unstable. Lyra looked at Alex, her expression a mixture of relief and admiration. I think we make a good team, she said. Alex nodded, allowing himself a brief smile. We do. But we are not safe yet. Before they could move further, the platform beneath them cracked, forcing them to leap to a nearby spire. The leap was long and dangerous, but they landed safely. As they caught their breath, both realized something crucial. Their survival depended entirely on their cooperation. You have secrets, Lyra said quietly, glancing at Alex. And you have yours, he replied, meeting her gaze. A silent understanding passed between them. In this strange, dangerous world, their secrets were not barriers, they were tools, keys to survival, and the beginnings of trust. As they looked out over the city, the twin suns disappearing behind the horizon, both knew that this was only the beginning. The night would bring new challenges, and the bond between them would be tested in ways they could not yet imagine. But for the first time, Alex and Lyra felt that they were not alone. Together they moved toward the heart of the city, shadows stretching around them. Their journey had begun, and neither of them would face it without the other. The hidden corridors beneath Valaris stretched far beyond what Alex had imagined. The air was cooler here, tinged with the faint hum of long-dormant machinery. Ancient conduits lined the walls, their faint lights pulsing in rhythm like the heartbeat of a sleeping giant. Alex moved cautiously, every step measured. Behind him, Princess Lyra followed, her eyes scanning every shadow and every control panel. This place is incredible, Lyra said softly. I never imagined the city had an underworld like this. Alex did not respond immediately. His mind was on potential threats, abandoned or not. The corridors were filled with technology unfamiliar to him and possibly dangerous. It may be abandoned, he said finally, but that doesn't mean it's safe. Lyra nodded, understanding the weight behind his words. They continued in silence, moving through narrow passageways and over creaking bridges that spanned deep chasms. Occasionally, small drones activated automatically, their sensors detecting motion and triggering alarms. Alex quickly learned to disable them before they could sound an alert. Lyra, impressed by his skill, assisted when the machinery required delicate handling. After hours of careful navigation, they reached a massive chamber. The walls glowed faintly with alien inscriptions, and the floor was lined with polished metal tiles that reflected their images. In the center, an enormous console hummed with energy, and a holographic map projected the paths leading back to the surface. This is the transport hub, Lyra said, her voice filled with awe. If we can activate it, it will take us to the upper levels of the city. But the system is old. Any mistake could trap us down here forever. Alex studied the map, tracing possible paths. Then we have to be precise. I'll handle the mechanical systems. You manage the energy conduits. If we work together, we can make it. Lyra nodded. Agreed. No mistakes. For hours they worked side by side. Alex repaired broken gears, rerouted energy flows, and bypassed old security locks. Lyra operated the control panels, decoding alien symbols and manipulating the power levels to stabilize the transport system. The air between them was tense but cooperative, filled with mutual respect and growing understanding. During a brief pause, Lyra spoke quietly. Alex, I need to tell you something. Before we got trapped, I feared that you might judge me for what I am. My family expects perfection, and I cannot afford mistakes. Alex glanced at her, his expression serious. I don't judge, Princess. Everyone carries burdens. Even a human guard has his own shadows. Lyra studied him for a moment. I've seen your eyes when you think no one is watching. You face things that would break most people, yet you carry on. Why? Alex's jaw tightened. He chose his words carefully. Because someone has to. I made mistakes before, and I refuse to let others pay for them. Protecting you, it matters, Lyra's violet eyes softened. Then we are both here because we choose to be, not because duty demands it. Alex nodded. The connection between them deepened, not in romance, but in mutual respect and understanding. They were partners now, bound by circumstance and trust. Suddenly, the chamber trembled. A low rumble echoed through the corridors. Dust fell from the ceiling, and small fissures opened in the floor. Alex moved instantly, scanning the room. We triggered a stability protocol. If we don't move, the entire hub could collapse. Lyra's fingers flew across the holographic console. I can stabilize it, but I need a precise sequence. Alex, cover me. There's no room for error. Alex positioned himself defensively, weapon ready, but careful not to interfere. As Lyra manipulated the controls, sparks flew and energy arcs danced across the panels. Minutes felt like hours, but finally, the hum steadied and the room's vibrations lessened. Done, Lyra said, breathing heavily. We're stable for now. Alex allowed himself a small nod of approval. Impressive work, Princess, they continued, moving toward the surface. The corridors led them through sections of the city that had not seen life for centuries. Ancient statues, long covered in dust, lined the paths. Lyra paused at one, tracing a finger across the engravings. These were my ancestors, she whispered. They built this city long before anyone knew we could fly above the clouds. Alex studied the inscriptions. You carry a legacy that is larger than most people can understand. Lyra smiled faintly. And yet you still see me as a person, not just a symbol. That means more than you know. As they reached the final chamber, the transport system appeared before them. A large platform suspended over a deep chasm. It hummed to life as Lyra activated it. The platform swayed slightly but held. Step carefully, Alex instructed. One wrong move and we could fall. They moved onto the platform side by side, each step measured. The transport lifted slowly, carrying them upward through narrow tunnels. The hum of machinery surrounded them, and dust fell like rain from the ceiling. Halfway to the surface, the system shuddered violently. Sparks flew and the platform tilted dangerously. Alex grabbed Lyra's hand, steadying her. Hold on, he shouted. Lyra gritted her teeth but did not panic. We can do this. Trust the system and each other. Together, they leaned into the movement, adjusting their balance, coordinating every step with precision. Alex's human instincts and Lyra's intimate knowledge of the alien system worked in perfect harmony. Slowly, the platform stabilized and continued its ascent. Finally, they emerged onto a balcony high above the city. The twin suns had set, and the city glowed with artificial light. Below, citizens moved through floating streets, unaware of the near disaster that had unfolded beneath them. Lyra turned to Alex, her expression a mixture of relief and admiration. "We made it," Alex nodded, catching his breath. "Yes, thanks to your knowledge and quick thinking." Lyra smiled faintly. "And thanks to your courage and precision." They stood in silence for a moment, looking over the city. The danger had passed, but the bond between them had grown stronger. They had faced fear together, relied on each other's skills, and shared fragments of their lives in a way neither had expected. "I suppose now we return to the palace," Alex said finally, his voice quiet. Lyra nodded. "Yes, but things will be different now. I see more clearly what it means to lead and what it means to trust. And I know you understand more about my world than most humans ever could." Alex allowed himself a small, rare smile. "Perhaps our secrets are no longer burdens. Perhaps they are bridges." Lyra's eyes sparkled. "Perhaps." As they descended to the palace courtyard, a shadow moved at the edge of the city, a reminder that their world, while beautiful, was never without danger. Alex and Lyra exchanged a glance, silent agreement passing between them. Whatever challenges awaited, they would face them together. In the days that followed, life in Valaris returned to its rhythm. The city's leaders praised the princess and her guard for their survival, but few knew the truth of the Undercity, the challenges, and the cooperation that had saved them. Lyra, more confident in her abilities, began to consider reforms that would strengthen her people, inspired by Alex's courage and ingenuity. Alex, in turn, found a renewed sense of purpose, realizing that his presence in this alien world mattered more than he had ever imagined. Their bond remained unspoken, but undeniable. Words were unnecessary when actions and trust spoke louder. They had navigated fear, danger, and secrecy together, emerging not just alive, but stronger. As the night fell over Valaris, the twin moons rising above the horizon, Alex and Lyra stood atop the palace balcony once more. The city spread out before them, a living testament to resilience, intelligence, and courage. Lyra placed a hand on the railing, her eyes reflecting the moon's glow. "The world is vast, Alex, and there is so much we do not know. But I'm glad I am not alone." Alex nodded, looking at her with quiet resolve. "Neither am I, Princess. Neither am I." The wind stirred around them, carrying the promise of new challenges, new discoveries, and a shared journey that had only just begun. They had survived together, and they would continue to do so, bound by trust, respect, and the unspoken understanding that sometimes the strongest force in the universe was simply two beings willing to face it together. And in that moment, atop the palace of Valaris, with the city alive below and the stars above, Alex Carter and Princess Lyra Valanis knew that whatever the future held, they were ready, together.